Every summer Top 100. Every summer Top 100. He's got a voice that's really the bomb. He'll make a choice that'll aggravate Tom. I hate to spoil it, but when all's said and done, Merchant of Venus gonna be number one. Every summer Top 100.
Welcome to the outside for the Top 100. We're finishing off the first half of the list, number 60 to 51. It's a beautiful fall day, autumn in Hamden, Connecticut, and it seems like a great day for searching all over the house and storage for another set of games. Let's get going.
Number 60, Indonesia.
Let's kick this one off with number 60. Indonesia, a splatter title that I love that's sort of fallen away as it's become unavailable. Indonesia is about buying and farming and then having a farming company and a shipping company to ship that to various places all over the world. There's different cities on the map and they are going to want the different goods on the board, and if they get one of everything on the board, then they get bigger, and then they want two of everything on the board. But then as new goods come up, they're going to want those things too. You can combine, you can merge companies together. It's a mathy game, and a very heavy one. But a lot of splatter titles are like that, right? That's sort of their thing. Indonesia is a lovely one, and one I enjoy pulling out. Number 60, Indonesia.
Number 59, Decrypto.
Number 59 is a word game that has worked very, very well for my son. He has taken to it quite a bit. Decrypto. It's from Yellow and Scorpion Masqué. It is so it's sort of like Password in that style of word game, but a lot more complex. You're looking at a row of 4 words that your team can see, and you are trying to get them, if you're the clue giver, you're trying to get them to guess a particular sequence of the 3 words. So I might have to get you to say the second word, and then the first word, and then the 4th word. 2, 1, 4. So I have to give clues that are going to get you to say 2, 1, 4. But I have to give clues that are not so obvious that the other team can figure out what we're trying to do. I have to use the information that we can see, looking at our words, to give you a clue that will tell you exactly what I mean, but not let on to the opposing team that's the sequence we're going for. So I have to think outside the box. This is very much a use the connections, use the extra information that your team can see while confusing the team across the way, because they get to guess first. After I give the clues, they can be like, oh, I think that's 2, 3, 1. And you say, haha, no. And then ask your own team what they think. And if they think it's 2, 1, 4, then you succeed in that round, and the other team did not. But if they intercept too many times, or if you mess up too many times, you've lost. Decrypto is a great team-based word game, thinky, but that's the sort of thing I really love. Number 59, Decrypto.
Number 58, Attica.
Number 58 is Attica. Marcel-André Casasola Merkel. Attica is a race to try and get all of your buildings out on the board at one time. You have to collect resources in order to do this, both from spaces on the board and also cards that you have in your hand. You can also chain your buildings. So if I build, I think the fountain comes first, and then the fountain will let me build another building for free. Automatically. If I've drawn them, you have to sort of draw the tiles to begin with onto your mat, and then you can put them on the board. So if you can get those things to chain, you can build very, very efficiently and also very quickly as you just boom, 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 build those things on the board. There's also a secondary victory condition where if you connect 2 temples on the board, you also win, and that is a tricky thing to watch out for, and it also annoys Tom very, very much. But Attica, one of my favorites.
Number 57, Nova Luna.
Number 57 is a game from Uwe Rosenberg. He also gave credit to Corné van Moorsel for some of the mechanisms in the game. Nova Luna is it's a tile drafting and laying game. You have a bunch of tiles that are arranged in a circle, and you can acquire the different tiles, or at least the 3 tiles that are in front of you, but they have different number values on them, and that is how far you go around a time track, and whoever is farthest back on the time track gets the next turn. So it's one of those where if you take a bunch of small value tiles, you may get multiple turns in a row, but if you take something that's really going to help you out, you're not going to take a turn for a little while. What you do with these tiles, the tiles have different scoring combinations on them of the 4 colors in the game. So you might need, in order to score on this tile, you might need 3 blues, 3 light blues that are in contact with this tile. And that's not just directly in contact, but it's also groupings of colors that are connected to this. So if I have my, well, I can't really show you. Here we go. Hey, it's right here on the back. So these 3 red tiles count for 3 red tiles connected to this tile because it's a grouping of 3 that's connected. Make sense? You have a bunch of these discs. Every time you complete one of these objectives, you're placing one of your discs down, and the more of those that you do, the closer you are to victory. And so you're balancing getting the really useful tiles because the ones that cost more have more scoring opportunities or easier scoring opportunities on them, but the ones that don't move your time track as far are going to be tougher to put a disc on. I like it. It's a delicious puzzle. It feels fresh. It feels simple. It feels like it's simple to learn, but tricky to master, which is always a good combination. Another of my favorites from the past year or so, Nova Luna.
Number 56. Concordia.
Number 56. Concordia. Matt Gertz is one of my favorite designers because I like his rondelle system, where you're doing that circular action selection track. But Concordia takes that action selection rondelle and turns it into a deck of cards, where it's got a sort of a deck building aspect to it because you will acquire cards that allow you to do more actions. You sort of spend 1 card each turn doing an action, and then eventually you will spend a particular card to take all those cards back. But the longer you do that, the longer you go before resetting your deck, the more income you'll get. You're also trying to spread out on the board and claim different trade locations, but the more people that are on a trade location, the more expensive it is to do so. There's a whole hierarchy of goods that you're trying to buy, sell, and trade, and those cards that you're gaining are your scoring for the end of the game. So the more cards you get of a particular type, the more that steers your strategy into a particular direction. Concordia is fantastic. It is a really great game. There's a standalone expansion, Concordia Venus, that allows for a partnership game, which is also a lot of fun. But even just the base game, Concordia, is really nice. It's my number... Oh, I forgot. Where'd it go? It's number 50... I really should make this a little bit closer so I can read it. 56. Concordia.
Number 55. Oh my goods.
Time to break out the old card holder thing again for number 55, which is Oh My Goods. There we are, right there. It is from Lookout Spiele, Alexander Pfister game. And it is a sort of an engine building sort of thing. You start out with a very simple production building, and you trigger that to create a particular good, and you use that to earn money, which you can then purchase more buildings, which can earn you more and better, more efficient goods. There's sort of a production phase. Let me show you one of these cards here. It's got costs and victory points and some sort of power if you use it in a particular round. Also, there's a production, sort of a push your luck thing. You'll reveal some of these little symbols here at the beginning of a round, and then you sort of decide whether you think you're going to have enough resources to do what you want to do. And then there's a second half of production, and you may or may not see all of the resources you're looking for. For such a small box game, there is a lot in here. And it's, especially if you're playing with the revised rules, which help a lot, it's got a lot of delicious crunchiness in this tiny little box. But if you want more than just what's in this box, why do I not have it in this container? One second. Different photo box. There are expansions. 2 of them. So you've got the Escape to Canyon Brook, which I have there, which I'm still in the middle of playing. And I even purchased the other one, Longsdale in Revolt, which is also extending that story, sort of a campaign aspect to the story. So if you enjoy Oh My Goods, you can play more once you've done that. Anyway, my number 55, Oh My Goods.
Number 54, Wingspawn.
That's a different game. Wingspawn. All the way at number 54, and we have not yet been to this zone. This is a closet in our front room that my wife graciously let me start putting games in. It filled up rather quickly, but we are talking about Wingspan, a game by Elizabeth Hargrave. It's a great engine builder with a unique theme, lovely art, and I like how clear things are as you trigger your different rows. You're sort of putting these birds down in rows that will then trigger in sequence, and getting that synergy to work where one thing triggers into another and it fires off a whole bunch of stuff you're trying to do is the tricky aspect of this game. It's just beautifully produced. I like those pastel eggs, and it's worked for my eldest son as well, who played it at a convention just because it had been getting so much buzz. He's like, I really want to try out Wingspan, and I quickly got us our own copy. Number 54, Wingspan.
Number 53, Meeple Circus.
Number 53, Meeple Circus, which is upside down. Meeple Circus is a dexterity game with a little bit of a twist. It has drafting elements. You are acquiring pieces that will become part of your act in sort of a drafting round, and also tiles that will allow you to earn more points and various ways to score. And once you've acquired all of that, you begin a 3-minute timer, playing circus music on an app or running a timer on your own, and you must assemble all of those elements into some sort of arrangement. And you'll get points for achieving combinations of pieces. Some meeples want to go really high in the air, and others like to hold things, and forming certain patterns will earn you points. And you're doing this all as the clock is ticking. And in the final performance round, you have special activities that you might need to perform also to earn points, where you might need to bow every time you hear applause in the soundtrack, or every item you introduce has to be announced and given a name. It is silly fun. It is a neat drafting acquisition game. It's a neat dexterity game, and one that works well for families because it's just a little bit silly. Sometimes my kids like the silly games. Meeple Circus.
Number 52, Clask.
Number 52 is right here behind me. From the text on the box, you probably wouldn't necessarily know what that is. In fact, it's all the way in the bottom. Clask is the name of this game. It's a large table dexterity game that's going to look a lot like... That's actually not going to show you the picture either. Here we go. There's a picture of the board. It's sort of an elevated platform. Here we go. Elevated platform with these magnetic movers that sit on top of the board, and then you can move them from underneath with this magnetic wand. And so they're sliding around in sort of an air hockey soccer sort of arrangement. You're trying to score goals. That's one way to score points. But you can also score points by getting your opponents to grab these little barrier stones, these little white plastic things that sit in the middle, and they are also attracted to your mover. So you get too close to those, and they will fly right onto your thing. And if you collect 2 of those, you've lost a point. And you reset and do it again. So you're trying to score goals, you're trying to get your opponents to get those barrier stones, so you can like hit them into the opponent, and that like reduces their play space that they have to dodge around. If they fall into their goal, you score a point. If they fall over and can't get back up again, you score a point. And you play to what, like 6 points? Super fast. Delicious fun, and this is such a high quality game. This feels like an heirloom sort of thing that's going to be passed down for a long time. It's solid construction, and the pieces are nice and tactile and fun, and it's one that can get pulled out in any sort of group of people and be left out and draw a crowd at the same time. I've seen this happen at conventions with Clask. It's a great game. Excellent. Worth tracking down. Number 52, Clask.
Number 51, Pulsar 2849.
Rounding out the first half is Pulsar 2849, a game by Vladimir Suchy. You're creating these, they call them gyrodynes, moving around a map and harnessing the power of these pulsars that earn you points. It uses a really neat dice drafting mechanism where you roll a mess of dice, and then based on the median values, it sort of creates a point where if you draw dice from one side, you're going to gain or lose something, and from the other side, it's going to go the other way. And then sort of mitigating that or playing that back and forth because you can't go too far to one side or the other is tricky. It sort of limits your choices. I've never seen anything like that dice drafting mechanism. I also like the technology tree in this game. There is a lot to explore here because you, I think, have 4 different sets of the technologies that you can acquire throughout the game, which give you more powers and scoring opportunities. And sometimes there's a race to see who gets those because only a couple of players can get those attacks. They're flying around and claiming these gyrodynes. Only one player can do that. You're discovering planets and getting rewards for doing so. There is a lot of stuff to do in Pulsar 2849. It is a very rewarding game, and my number 51. There we have it. That is the first half of the top 100. More to come for sure as we explore the house and all the places that I've stashed all these games. Do you think if we move before all the leaves come down, I don't need to rake this year? Because that would be nice. Anyway, we'll see you next time.
Barry Somerville's Top 100. 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 Barry Somerville's Top 100.